Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and this is Windows Server 2019 training tutorial, and this is number 30 video in this series. And today in this video I'm going to show you how to create Microsoft pulled VDI with RDS on Windows Server 2019. So in last video we have created a personal virtual desktop collection, which was basically a one-to-one mapping with users. So one user's mapped with one particular VDI, which is known as a personal VM or personal virtual desktop deployment. And we have also seen the virtual session-based deployment for RDS session host servers. So in this video I'm going to focus on pulled VMs. So basically in pulled VM, we are going to deploy one collection of VDIs. For example, we are going to deploy 100 VDIs in a collection of pulled VDI, but those 100 VMs are not going to dedicate to any single user. So basically it's not going to do one user mapping with one VDI. So in this scenario, pulled VM means whatever next VM is available, whenever users try to request the login to Microsoft VDI solution, whatever is next virtual machine, the user are going to get the access to next available virtual machine. For example, if I have logged in 10 users in VDI sessions, and if the 11 users is going to try to log into RDS infrastructure, which is configured as a pulled VDI, so he is going to get the session on next available virtual machine, which is in VDI pool, might be 11 virtual machines. So this is something, so you can say basically it's not going to have a one by one user with one computer mapping or VDI mapping. It's going to have a pulled scenario where the user is going to get the access to next available virtual machine and a VDI pool. So we are going to see how we can configure it, how we can install, and how we can prepare the infrastructure, what all the requirements to configure the Microsoft pulled VDI solution with RDS on Windows Server 2019. So from here you can see, if you go to deploy a collection, you will see this option, basically pulled virtual desktop collection or personal. So in last video we have created personal virtual desktop collection, which is going to be one-to-one mapping, one user with one computer or VDI. And now we are going to deploy this pulled desktop collection, virtual desktop collection. So you can see new virtual desktop collection based on a virtual desktop template. So we are going to create a same Windows 10 template on this video also, and we are going to use that template for the VDI solution, pulled VDI, and recreate virtual machine based on the virtual machine template. So whenever users is try to log in, if the virtual machine is not available in the pool, like if we have 100 virtual machine and it's fully utilized, then it's going to create the virtual machine again. And if any virtual machine goes corrupted, you can go ahead and recreate the virtual machine based on the template. And you can see also user profile setting on a user profile disk. So basically a data is going to be, user profile data is going to be saved on user profile disk, not on the server. It's your VDI itself, pulled VDI itself. So we are going to see all these things. So we have to understand Microsoft RDS VDI infrastructure, which is required to deploy virtual desktop infrastructure by using remote desktop services. So the first thing which you must need is Active Directory domain controller. You have to have a set up one Active Directory infrastructure, which is going to manage all your servers, users, group, and everything is going to be managed through domain infrastructure. And next you need a client, which may be a thin client or Windows desktop, which with RDP enabled, so you can basically RDP to your virtual desktop, which is going to be deployed on VDI solutions or Microsoft VDI solutions. So next you need RD connection broker. So RD connection broker is going to handle all your requests which is coming for the connections or communication from users to VDI server, or the VDI request which is coming from end user from a remote desktop connection manager. So it's going to handle, and you can also do the administration from only remote desktop connection manager server. So this is something which you need. And the next thing which you need, a remote desktop web access, which is going to allow users to log in on a web portal to get the login to the VDI farm and see the VDI farm, and they can authenticate and connect to the VDI solutions. And last, you need a remote desktop virtualization host, which is going to be a Hyper-V host. So basically, you have to have a one hypervisor, which is going to be a Hyper-V one, Microsoft Hyper-V Type 1 hypervisor, which is going to run all the host and run all the virtual machine which we are going to deploy in pulled VDI solution. So these are the requirements which you need to go ahead and prepare for the Microsoft VDI solution. So let's get in and see what we have in this demo. So I'm using 3 servers and 2 thin client machine in this video. So the first machine is going to be a Win2K19 DC01, which is my Active Directory DNS and DHCP server. My domain name is victorinfosol.local. So here is my Active Directory Win2K19 DC01, Active Directory, DHCP and DNS is running on this machine. If I go to local server, you can see Win2K19 DC01. My domain name is victorinfosol.local, and also we can go here in Active Directory users and computers. So you will see our domain infrastructure. This is our domain infrastructure. We have OU called India. Under India we have a group OU, we have a servers OU, users. In users we have admin and normal, and then we have a VDI OU, and then workstation, which is containing my 2 thin client devices. So this is our AD infrastructure, and the next machine is going to be our Win2K19 RDS, which is going to be host, RD connection broker and web access. This is a freshly installed machine. I have not configured anything. We are going to do it all together. So this is going to be this machine, basically Win2K19 RDS, and the next machine is going to be our RD virtualization host or Hyper-V host, which is Win2K19 HV01. This machine having 64 gig of memory, and I'm going to join this machine also in my domain. So this is HV01. This is also first machine. I have not done anything, just operating system is installed and nothing a part of operating system installation. So this is our machine, and lastly we have a 2 thin client machine which is running on Windows 10. So Win10 TH01, Win10 TH02. So here we go. So you can see this is my Windows 10 machine, and if I go here you will see this is also joined in my domain. And if I see CMD, who am I? So I'm logged in as a Victor Infosol user 01, and if I go to second machine, my thin client machine, and see who am I, so I am user 02 of Victor Infosol. So this is good. So this is the infrastructure which we are going to do. So let's start. So first thing, I'm going to configure these servers, rename, IP address, and join this machine in domain. So I'm going to do this first. So this is my RDS server. I'm going to configure IP address first. Static IP address, basically it's taking the IP address from DHCP, so I'm going to make it to static 192.168.0.202, and then I'm going to configure 0.1 gateway, and DNS is going to be my domain controller first, and then it's going to be router address. So this is good, and now I'm going to join this machine in domain. So I'm going to turn off this enhanced security, and then going to Win2K19 RDS, going to join in my domain victorinfosol.local, and going to type my password here. Welcome to domain. So I'm going to reboot this machine now. And same, I'm going to join this machine also in my domain. So here we go. Configure first static IP address. I'm going to disable IPv6. I don't need it. So 192.168.0.203, and gateway is going to be 0.1, DNS is going to be 0.201, and this is going to be 1. So IP configuration is done, and now we need to join this machine in domain. So we are good. I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to change here and type Win2K19, and this is going to be HV01, and my domain name type the credential here. So it's joining domain now. We can go ahead. So I'm going to reboot this machine now. So both the machines has been joined in my domain and ready for the installation of role. So before doing this, I'm going to create one user account here, admin user account, and give it local admin access. So I'm going to create RDS. Okay, so we have to make sure this user basically having the local administrative access on both the servers, RD connection broker and the Hyper-V host. So you can go ahead and add it manually. For here, to simplify, I'm just going to add in domain admin users. So it's automatically going to get the domain admins and local administrator rights. So this is good, and now I'm going to log in here on both the machines. So RDS admin, type the password, and let's go and log into Hyper-V now. Okay, it's going to be RDS admin and then password. So now we have logged into both machines, and we can go ahead and install these roles on respective servers. So I'm going to do it. So the first thing, we need to add the server in this manage server manager on RDS to manage that server from here. So manage from dashboard, add servers. I'm going to find my server, which is HV01 Win2K19. So going to click OK. So now if you go here, all servers, you will be able to find both the servers are added here. So I'm going to start the performance counter, which is going to monitor both the machines' performance. So this is good. So now we can go ahead and initiate the installation. So I'm going to click on manage and add role and features, click next, and this is going to be remote desktop services because we are going to deploy virtual desktop infrastructure. So remote desktop installations, click next. And deployment type, we are going to have a standard because we are going to deploy remote desktop services across multiple servers, because we have two different servers, one for RD virtualization and one for RD connection broker and web access. So we are going to do standard deployment. Click next. And then this is going to be a virtual machine based desktop deployment to create a virtual desktop collection. So click next. So now you can see this is going to install 3 roles: RD connection broker, RD web access, and RD virtualization host, which is given here. So this is good, and now I'm going to click next. And where you want to install a connection broker, so I want to install a connection broker on RDS Win2K19 RDS. So this is selected here, computer, click next. Now we need to select where you want to install a RD web. So you can mark this also, install the RD web access role on a RD connection broker. So it's automatically going to select the pick up the machine RDS. Click next. And where you want to install a RD virtualization host. So I'm going to install on my Win2K19 HV01. So add it, and here we have a create a new virtual switch on selected server. So basically it's going to install a Hyper-V role, and it's going to create one virtual switch on this Hyper-V host, and it's going to add that Hyper-V virtual switch as external network, which is going to basically communicate with our physical network, and it's going to pick up the physical NIC also. So we'll see how it's going to how we can verify it post the installation. So click next. Now it's going to give you confirmation, and it's going to say like Hyper-V RD virtualization hosts require reboot. So we can go ahead and restart the destination computer automatically if required, and new switch you can see here, yes. So it's automatically going to deploy a new switch. So click on deploy now. So it's going to install all the roles one by one, and once the installation is done, it's going to reboot this RD virtualization host once the Hyper-V installation is done on this machine, and then we are going to get and log in back. So you can see it's installing connection broker role now. Now it's installing RD web access role services on this machine, which is Win2K19 RDS server. And once this is done, it's going to initiate this RD virtualization host service installation. So it's in progress. So it's going to take some time because it's going to install all three roles and then going to take the reboot and going to verify all the installation is going to be successful or not, and it's going to give you the result post the installation completes. So now you can say it's installing finally RD virtualization host role on this machine Win2K19HV01. So this machine is going to be our RD virtualization host or a HyperV role, HyperV server. Now you can see it's restarting, so we can go ahead and see HV01 is getting restarted. So this is good thing. So HyperV require 2 reboots, so it's going to reboot once again after working on features. So we have to wait for it to get one more restart. So now you can see it's restarting final time. So installation is done, everything is configured successfully, and now we can go here and see what this role is. So you can see on RDS or 2K19 we have IS install and remote desktop services. If I go to remote desktop services here, you will see here Win2K 19 HV01 having RD virtualization host, RDS Win2K19, RDS having RD web access and connection broker role. So we are good now, and finally we can go ahead and create our virtual desktop collection. So before you create this collection, you have to have an existing user group must be exist in Active Directory to whom you can give the access for your VDI solution, and you need a desktop template, virtual desktop template. So we are going to create first this group. So I'm going to create one group here and call it VDI users, and I'm going to add my all normal account to VDI users group. So select all and right click add group and calling VDI users, and you can see I added successfully. And now let's verify this. So if I go here, you can see all the users are member of this group. So this is the group which we have created, and now the next thing which we need to create, we have to create a virtual desktop template. So if I go here and go to HyperV Manager, this is freshly installed machine, so we don't have any virtual machine template. So we are going to create one template first. So the next thing, we have to have one at least one RD virtualization, one switch, basically virtual switch on RD virtualization host. So this has been created automatically during the installation. So let's verify virtual switch manager. You can see RDS virtual is created and it's binded with my physical network external. So it's going to communicate, all the virtual machine is going to be communicated through this network switch, external switch. And then you have to do all this stuff also. The Active Directory domain services must be proper configured, and RDS connection broker must have a privilege to join Active Directory desktop machine. So all these things, so we are good, and now we are we can go and create the template. So I'm going on here and configure Hyper-V first. So in a Hyper-V setting, I'm going to give the path to store the virtual hard drive here on D drive HV data, and virtual machine is going to be saved here, DHV data. So this is good. And now if I go in my C drive, I have Windows 10 OS ISO and Office. So I'm going to install this Windows 10 machine, and then we're going to install MS Office and convert it to template. So let's do it. So right click on Hyper-V new and then create a virtual machine. So I'm going to call it VDI master and click next. And generation 2, I'm going to give it disk memory 6 gigs, so it's going to be a 6122, I'm going to connect with my physical network, which is RDS virtual. Next, and going to give it disk size 61 gig and click next, and then I'm going to install operating system from ISO image file. So if you create a generation 2 machine, you will get only this ISO mounting option. So I'm going to mount this Windows 10. Click next and click on finish. So it's going to create our virtual machine now. So now you can see virtual machine has been created, and I'm going to verify the settings once again. So we got 6 gig of memory. We got I'm going to increase this force processor for now to speed up the installation, and the ISO is mount and network is also enabled, so this is good. And now I'm going to start and connect this machine, and it's going to start the installation. So I'm going to click next and install now. Now I'm going to select Windows 10 Enterprise, click next. I'm going to accept the license terms, click next, and custom Windows installation. I'm going to hit next. So it's going to install the operating system on this volume. I'm going to speed up in task MGR, and I'm going to select startup, Windows startup, go to process, and I'm going to give it real time, so it's going to speed up. And I'm going to this machine, this service also. So now you can see installation is started. So I'm going to pause the recording because the installation is going to take some time, and once the installation is done, we are ready to log in. I'm going to resume from there. So installation is completed. Now I'm going to configure it and log into this machine. So click yes, skip, don't want to add a secondary, and I'm going to skip for now. Network configuration. So user, I'm going to create just dummy user. It's going to be user. Basically we need to delete this user and enable the administrator. So accept. It's going to log in with this account which we have just created, and then we are going to enable the administrator and delete this account from this machine, and then we are going to install the MS Office. So I'm going to mount the MS Office installation media here. So browse, and I'm going to MS Office Professional Plus 2016. So it's logged in, and I'm going to in computer management. You can see it's got the IP address from DHCP, so this is good sign. And go here, and in users, I'm going to open the properties of this administrator account and enable this account and apply. Okay, and now I'm going to log out and sign in with administrator account. So sign out and hit Ctrl+Del, and I'm going to select administrator account and sign in. So this is going to create profile for this administrator account, so it's going to take some time, so we have to wait for a few minutes here. So it's setting up the profile now. So we are logged in now. So I'm going in computer management to delete this user account. So go to control panel, and here we have users accounts, and I'm going to manage another account, and then select this user and click delete account and delete files also. And now we are good, and we can go ahead and install MS Office on this machine. So I'm going to run the setup for MS Office. You can go ahead and install all the software, all the application which you need to be pre-installed on your master image or VDI collections machines, which is going to be deployed. So it's depending on your requirement. You can select what software and what application you need to install on it. So this is good. So MS Office installation is done. Now I'm going to take one reboot to make sure everything is working fine, and then we are good to go and sysprep this machine. So I'm going to just take one reboot for this machine. Now it's booting. And we are good, and now I'm going to run the sysprep on this machine. So go here, and I don't need CD drive, so we can remove it now. So CD drive is removed from this machine, and we can go ahead on Windows, System 32, and then sysprep, and run the sysprep.exe file, and going to journalize and shut down machine. So the sysprep is going to take few minutes, and then it's going to automatically shut down the virtual machine, and then we are good to go and create this collection. So, and to create a new virtual desktop collection, I'm going to call it like Win 10 pulled, and click next. And then we are going to, with the default option, which is pulled virtual desktop collection, click next, and you can see the virtual machine has been detected. And once machine is shut down, we can go ahead and click next. It's going to check the virtual machine configuration and everything. So we have to make sure the machine is in shutdown state, so we have to wait for till the time this is going to be sysprep and shutdown machine. Now machine is shut down, we can go ahead and close this, and we can see the status also. So I'm going to click next. So I'm going to, with the default option, which is provide on-net installation setting, click next. And here I'm going to use you can select the time zone on and where you want to put your VDI's computer account, which is going to be created in organization unit. So I'm going to put here, so I'm going to copy the extension's name for this OU. So going on properties and then attribute editor, and then copy this and come here and paste it. So it's going to be OU VDI under OU India, and domain name is victorinfosol.local. So click next. And now to whom you want to give access. So I have created one account, so VDI users, click check, and name is going to be Win10. You can say compute, this is going to be computer name, so Win10 VDI you can say, and then start with 1, and how many you want. So I'm going to initially deploy 3, so click next, and all 3 machines are going to be deployed here, HV01, and where you want to store the files. So I'm going to specify, create one disk here, a folder in my D drive, call it VDI VMs, and we copy this path and paste it here and click next. And I'm not going to enable user profile disk for now, click next. And then these all the settings which we have just gone through, our collection name, type pulled, managed option yes, domain name and OU, time zone, group which is going to be get access, and template, and 3 virtual machine, and computer name format is going to be VDI Win10 VDI 1, 2 and so on. And this is our collection setting allocation on this machine, 3 virtual machines, and virtual desktop storage is each RD virtualization host. Profile disk no, so we can go ahead and click create now. Now it's going to export this template file. You can see export is started, and it's going to export this template to a RDS VDI template, and then it's going to deploy 3 virtual machines on this OU. So we have to wait for it. So I'm going to pause the recording now, and once the deployment is started, I'm going to resume from there once again. So you can see it's still exporting. Well, now we can see the deployment is started, and we can go here on our HyperV host, and we can see the first virtual machine is created. Now configuration was started for this machine, and if I go to Active Directory, you can see also computer account has been created, and this must be a blank now. Okay, so machine is joined in domain, so this is good. This is Windows 10 Enterprise, so the first machine is deployed. Now it's going to deploy more 2 virtual machines, and then we will verify how we can communicate with this collection, and how we can log into the virtual desktop infrastructure. So I'm going to pause again, and once all the virtual machine has been deployed successfully, I'm going to resume from there. So now Win10 pools created successfully. We can go ahead and close this, and now we can see the size is going to be 3 and type is pooled managed. And if I go and select this, you can see 3 virtual machine has been deployed, Win10 VDI 1, 2 and 3, and all are in save state. So let's verify from HyperV also. So you can see on HyperV all 3 machine is saved its state. One it's going to power on because it's going to always keep one machine in running state to available for next session. And also you can see it's created revert checkpoint here. So whenever any users is going to log off, is going to reset the profile virtual machine status to this RDV rollback snapshot. And if I go here, you will see VDI VMs. Under the VDI VMs, I will pull, and all 3 virtual machine has been created here. And if I go and see virtual machine hard drive, you can see one hard drive is around 2 gigs, so it's all are going to be differential disk. You can see all machines are going to be around 2 gig hard drive size for all VMs. So it's referring the, so basically it's a differential disk which is using master machine hard drive. So this is good. And now if I go in Active Directory, you can see if I refresh here, all 3 virtual machine account has been created, and here VDI is joined in my domain. So this is good, and now we can go ahead and test this VDI in our thin client from our thin client machine. So I'm going to log into my Windows 10 thin clients. And I'm going to open an Internet Explorer. I'm going to open https:// server name win2k19 RDS, and then Victor info source dot local and RD web. And you can see this is certificate is not installed, that's why we are getting. If you need to know your address of RD web access, you can go on your RDS server, and from here if you go on collections and edit deployment setting, you will see here RD web access path which is given here. So by default this is this server name / RD web. So now I'm going to log in here. So Victor info sol and user 01 and password for this account. I'm going to connect this machine, save it basically. So this is the RDP file for which is going to communicate with this VDI group, so VDI collection. So I'm going to open it and open with remote desktop services. and we click yes, and I'm going to type the credential here. So we are logged in now. It's going to create a user profile, and same if I go here and copy this file in my second collection, second VDI, and try to connect from here with second user, which is user 02, and we'll see how it's going to work. So now you can see both the two virtual machine is in running state, so this is good. And the local profile is being created on this VDI. So we logged in here, so this is good. And we this profile is being created on user 02. So now if I go on collection and if I refresh this, you will see the machine is assigned for user 01 and user 02. So this is good, and collection type is pulled, so it's going to work as expected. So you can see we logged in on second machine also by account user 02. So this is good. So this is all about how we can create Microsoft VDI, pulled infrastructure, pulled collection, and remote desktop services Windows Server on Windows Server 2019. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post me on my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.